welcome to another edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, what you may not know about Doctor Who. This time we're going to have a look at Dragonfire, the first appearance of Ace, my favourite companion. I hope you enjoy. The literal cliffhanger at the end of episode 1, in which the Doctor lowers himself over a guardrail to dangle over an abyss from his umbrella for no apparent reason, comes under frequent criticism for its seeming absurdity. It's scripted. The Doctor did have a logical motivation for his actions. According to Cartmel in a later interview, the passage leading to the cliff was meant to be a dead end, leaving the Doctor no option but to scale the cliff face. As shot, however, this reasoning became unclear. The original intention is reinforced in the next episode when Mel and Ace contemplate the same climb. For the effects shot of Kane's death, a wax bust of Edward Peel's screaming face was made and filmed with being melted down to a skull within. This footage being sped up to achieve the similar effect. Though this is very similar to the death of Tull in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, for the family-friendly audience of Doctor Who, the colour red was carefully avoided. This marks the final time in the classic era that the Doctor replaces his companion, ironically bringing the main cast formula back to what it started as, the Doctor travelling with a teenage girl displaced from her home. Sarah Griffith's character Ray from the previous serial, Delta and the Bannerman, was originally predicted to be replacing Bonnie Langford as a regular companion. However, the role went to Sophie Aldred's character Ace in this serial instead. Lynn Gardner, who had originally been cast as Ray, was injured in a motor scooter accident, so was replaced by Griffiths. Gardner was still paid, and because she was still under contract, was cast as the announcer on this story. Ian Briggs had included the backstory of Dragonfire that Ace had recently lost her virginity to Glitz. The plot point was unsurprisingly not included in the episode as shot. Paul Cornell later referred to the event in the New Adventures novel Happy Endings. Sorry, I can't keep a straight face on that one. The original script featured a different but similar character called Razorback, also known as Swordfish, in the role that would later be accompanied by Glitz. After recognising the similarities between the two characters, John Nathan Turner encouraged Ian Briggs to bring Glitz back in place of the original character. At one point, the character Kane would have been called Hess. That was changed due to the announcement that the Soviet government under Gorbachev was no longer opposed to the release of Nazi war criminal Rudolf Hess on humanitarian grounds, and due to Hess's death by, quote, suicide in Spandau prison, Berlin on the 17th of August 1987. I say quote because he was an elderly man who somehow hanged himself from a very small wall using a telephone line. Yeah, there's no way he killed himself, sorry. Although Ace is 16, the actress, Sophie Aldred, who played her, was nearly 10 years older at the time. In Asian mythology, dragons' heads are said to contain a jewel in which commonly connected to their ability to fly. This is similar to the dragon in Dragonfire, having a valuable gem in its head so that it can grant Kane the power of flight. This is the second story in a row to feature a full vehicle exploding, killing everyone on it. In Delta and the Bannerman, it was a bus. In this, it is Glitz's ship. There are several references to the Alien franchise, the second installment of which has been released a year before this episode was first shown. For example, the xenomorph-like appearance of the dragon, and the dragon being hunted through the corridors by soldiers with large guns and motion detectors before it ambushes them. This is the first televised story since the invasion time where a companion left the Doctor at the end of the season, and the first story since Logopolis where one joined the Doctor in a season finale. This story was chosen by fans to represent the Sylvester McCoy era and to be rebroadcast for Doctor Who at 40. How they chose this out of other ones, I do not know. The Doctor going to pet an alien that bites at him was ad-libbed by Sylvester McCoy. The wistful speech the Doctor delivers when Nell announces that she is leaving to travel the universe with Glitz was the audition speech that Sylvester McCoy was given when trying out for the role, and when it became clear that this was going to be Mel's last episode, he insisted that they use that. It was originally written by Andrew Cartmel. Originally, Ace chose to join Kane as a mercenary, with his sovereign becoming permanently imprinted on her palm. Ace then rebelled only when ordered to kill Mel. However, these developments felt too similar to Belzac's arc. She also had a stuffed dog named Wayne. A pair of scenes in which Glitz accidentally triggers a trap in the corridors beneath the ice world and must be rescued by the Doctor were removed from the script for a time. The plot bears a resemblance to The Hobbit, with stealing treasure from a dragon on a mountain. Sylvester McCoy, ironically, would later play Radagast the Brown in the film adaptations. The original script featured a 14-year-old financial genius called Fat Boy and his sidekick, Mr. Spewy. Sought a treasure hidden in its depths. The prize was ultimately revealed to be a living creature. Savatos was originally named Tarros. This is the last appearance of Mel, but the first appearance of Ace. And finally, working titles for the story included Absolute Zero, The Pyramid Treasure, and Pyramid in Space. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Dragonfire is one of those episodes or one of those stories that have a very mixed reception. Some people actually quite like it. Some people are, well, they're not very nice towards it. The problem is it's a part of Sylvester McCoy's first season, and as we all know, his first season was not the best. However, this is the best of the Bad Batch by a long shot. His first series is quite infamous for having really bad stories. It's a bit like Peter Capaldi in a way. His first 2 seasons were quite weak, but then his final season was really good. With Sylvester McCoy, at least his second and first seasons are great. His first season in particular being absolutely fantastic. And this is definitely the best of the Bad Batch. It's the strongest contender of them all. I think one of the biggest issues that this story has is that it tries to have too many characters at once, which is ironically a problem that the modern Doctor Who has. It tries being way too out there with its ideas, and it doesn't know how to just calm itself down, just bring it in a bit. Try and be a bit more calmer. Maybe that might work out, but nonetheless, I will say this has one of the goriest Doctor Who deaths ever. The guy whose face melts, Kane, it's just dreadful. It's horrific. It's brilliant. I love it. And even the dragon is an interesting design. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. Obviously, the cliffhanger at the end of part 1 is goofy as hell. This is definitely a weak story, but it's as I said, it's the best of a Bad Batch. Considering what other episodes or other stories in this season, Although I will say this, Paradise Towers is not that bad. I actually do quite like Paradise Towers. Despite this, it does introduce us to Ace, and it's great to see Glitz again. That character, as well as saying goodbye to Mel, who really didn't contribute all that much in the show, to be fair. Although I didn't hate her. And of course, she does return, as does Ace. But Ace is more important because Ace is the greatest companion that has ever been, and this is her introduction. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Did You Know Doctor Who, and I'll see you next time.